It's only a mover. Only a mover. Only a mover. I was about to say my last house. That's how to do it in parts because it is a big review, so why I thought not. Now I'm going to tell you about the story of Last House. Simple story, but a disturbing one. You start off with a dog called Barbara. Another one in finger. That's another name was called Barbara. I apologise, but it's on the first one. My mistake. The name is called Mary Collingwood. You know, she's a typical American girl with a father who's a doctor and a mum. And she's going to a watch concert to meet a mate called Phyllis. I got that name right? Phyllis. And they're going to go to a watch concert. Now, in all fairness, this did come out in the early 70s. Like I say, 71 to 72. And kids were probably into that in that era, you know, smoking gas. And they stopped by to this people's house. Long below, they did have a news report warning people about a gang of psychopaths who were on the run. They accidentally go to the wrong house with the psychopaths. They get abducted. They get raped. At midnight, you'll see it, but you got the idea that happens. You think that's disturbing. They then take them to the woods in the day after, that being the morning. They sexually them a bit more. Guy gets a knife, cuts Mary, doesn't stab her or kill her, but he cuts her. And he makes one of the guys, being cool, makes Phyllis urinate herself. Not making this shit up. He makes her urinate herself. And then they make them too lesbian and they sexually them a bit more. Then it's disturbing that, innit? I just mentioned that in every fucking G-jail. There were bits that were definitely cut when we first got it on the UK. The scene where Phyllis urinates herself and you definitely see it. And she did actually re herself for real, it wasn't effect. To make it more believable, she did actually re herself to do that effect. So it wasn't a water bag and then the effects. The scene where they kill Phyllis, they stab her to death and they pull her intestines out, all that gruesome stuff, that was cut down. There was bits what was heavily cut when we first got it in the UK. I do remember having a foreign version given to me in English, but it was foreign because it was the only way you could get it in its uncut form. But over to this, we've got a lot more chain and now we can actually see Last House in its uncut form. You can definitely see why it's an upsetting film, because after they do all that, Phyllis tries to get away. They get her, I've already just mentioned it, they fucking kill her. Then if that ain't bad enough, oh, there's another scene that was cut down, just reminding me. They then torture Mary by typing his initials, that being Q, in a test. Again, graphic scene was cut down a bit. Then if that isn't bad enough, he pulls her trousers down and then he rapes her. Now, what all those disturbing bits, that is one bit, and I'm going to be fucking honest, that is one bit where even that went through me. I do not like rape in any fucking film. Yeah, I talk vulgar and I talk fucking dirty, but in reality I'm a human being. I do not want to see rape in any film. For the first rape scene ever, unless you want to go into the era of Deliverance, or rather, or fucking Star Dogs, that scene was me. In its uncut form, I'm not shitting you, this was me. Because I couldn't watch it, it was just too much for me at that point. Then if that wasn't too much, she feels dirty after being what was done to her. She goes in a pool, Q gets her gun out and shoots her and kills her. And I can definitely see why a lot of people have a stop video in that era, said I've had enough, I can't watch anymore, it's upsetting. And I can definitely see why people probably walked out the cinema crying their fucking eyeballs out. Because I just said it, how disturbing is that? But I managed to watch it all, bad to fucking honour. In its uncut form, I've seen it all, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's an interesting film. The only bit what ruins it, you got two fucking blumbering cops. It's just had to be comedy. Comedy in a film like that does not mix. It's like watching the rape scene in fucking I Spit on Your Jave. Imagine them putting comedy in that, in something which is a serious matter like that. So that's the bits I would have to say. I know Wes Craven's no longer with us, may he rest in peace, but that's the only thing where I would have to say. I know it was the early 70s, but what the fuck was Wes Craven smoking? What the fuck was he smoking? Because you're trying to put comedy in a film, I've just said in subtext. Does that sound funny to you? I've just said. Does it sound fucking funny? But it's an interesting film, apart from the blundering chops, the stupid comedy, the woman with the dummy fucking chief. Oh, how am I going to have them chickens? Sisters, I've got so many chickens. This is after the fucking scene I just said was the Mary scene. Bit of poor taste, that, innit? With a stupid bit of fucking comedy and a bit of fucking mouth horn playing. It's how stupid that is, and that's in the fucking film. That is in the film I've just mentioned. But if you get past all the disturbing and ugly bits, I do like the way the tables turn, because then you've got the main characters. The car's broken down and need somewhere to stay the night. They go to the family of the one who was Mary. The family discover what happens and start killing them. And I like that. I like the idea of the tables turning. That civilised people being a nice American family discover what has happened to their little girl, their daughter, and they get bloody revenge, proper style, and kill them all. I do remember the scene where the mum bites the guy down there. Don't see it, but the sound effects, you can imagine what she's doing down there. Every guy's fucking nightmare. And it was definitely a fine film. You can definitely see why it got banned in the UK. And it was this before we actually, like I say, before we ever got it in its uncut form. And I kind of felt, sorry, that's my fault. I kind of feel sorry for Wes Craven, because after he did that, he had a lot of friends who would not allow him to see their kids. They were treating him like he was a fucking pedo or something. And at the end of the day, like it says in the fucking trailer, it's only a fucking movie. It's only a fucking movie. But people treated Wes Craven like he was a weirdo, like he was a pedo. How can you make such a disgusting film? But I think it's a very cleverly made film. Normally I don't like disturbing films, but if I get past the disturbing bits, if I get past the stupid comedy, granted the remake did fix that. They made it straightforward. It wasn't a stupid it wasn't a stupid comedy scenes flung in. You can get past all that. It is a powerful film. It hits you like a fucking truck. It is a disturbing film, and it was made to be that way. You know what I mean? It wasn't sock for sock value. You want to see sock for sock, where it's just starting to freak you out. What's shit like Human Centipede? I fucking hate Human Centipede. What's shit like the fucking Saw movies? I'll tell you one film what I never want to watch ever again. I fucking hate with a passion. What's 120 Days of Sodom? There's a scene in that I'm not going to tell you. I thought, did it last house, the traffic bits? Believe me, you don't want to tell you one scene in 100 Days of Sodom unless you want to vomit on your fucking food. That is a disgusting film. But Last House, it made money, it got banned, and it was only due Wes Craven had his luxury of doing The Hills Have Eyes, which is definitely a lot more Hollywood, because in all fairness, Last House was a cheap budget film. It did make its success, and as I said, it was a video nasty, a very controversial one in its day, but in all respect, I don't hate the film. It's hard to say I respect something with that sort of subtext, but it was an interesting film to watch, even though it's a hard one to watch. It's not one I can just stick on one day and think, oh yeah, let's watch Last House while I'm eating a sandwich. You'd have to be in the mood with what I've just said. But that was Last House. So if I disturbed anyone. But that's the history of Last House. That Wes Craven, may he rest in peace, did. I do actually like one scene in it though, where the father just made these traps to get the fucking bad guys. I can always wonder whether Wes Craven decided to use that idea as well as cool in the scene in Nightmare on Elm Street, where the character Nancy set up for Freddy Krueger. Because there are some similarities there. Put into them. That was Last House on the left, shot in 1972. The first film that inspired Wes Craven, who would later do a lot more civilised type of horror films. Into them. See you later. And as the trailer said, it's only a movie. Only a movie. So just remember that. See you later.